My
I'm
my
sorry for
main
that.
explosion I've accepted is just not gonna one shot anymore, right? So
Yeah, that's a rough one. I mean, it for it to do that, you have to be so overpowered, right?
yep, pretty much. And I mean it's fine now that we have full Nanus. It's like it's basically Meso Explosion 2.0 when it comes to mobbing,
Mm-hmm. The
and I
sacred
don't even have to
goal
push
build
the
up.
button. So yeah.
Do you have benefit damage on sacred power already or not? Yeah.
So I'm at 110%. I think I just leveled up today to get
Hmm.
that benefit. So I'm kind of noticing it. My dark flare is I think is barely clearing everything I can in that 7 second window.
Nice, nice. So that's
So
what is
yeah,
that? Three
I haven't
hitting?
like
Four hitting?
it's like it's like 5 hitting or something.
Five hitting? Yeah, it hits
Let me watch it
pretty
right now
quickly.
for a moment. Five, 6 hitting,
Six.
but
Okay.
yeah, that's all it needs.
Yeah, it's like again. That's why we look for map clearing, right? Enough for one shotting. As long as it's clearing, it's doing its job.
Yep, exactly. Waiting for the Hexa Mastery Dark Flare. That's probably never gonna happen since it's a third job, but it would be pretty cool.
I'd say it's possible. I think I guess as our little intro here. But I think the reason why they grew the Matrix so much in Korea is probably because the hexas are going to cover most of the skills for characters,
Mhm.
and as a result, they'll want you to boost everything in the V Matrix. So they'll give everyone more space in the V Matrix, and I think eventually everyone's gonna have to just max out pretty much everything, or like
Right.
everything fourth job pretty much, and then maybe some third job here and there for some classes. But
Yeah, that
no,
makes
I guess we'll
sense.
see. They said they were not going to make any more skills or masteries for. I think they said at least a year, so I guess we were chilling for a bit on that.
Yeah, it's like kind of chilling, but also kind of sad. But it's
Yep,
okay. We're Maplers. We're used to waiting, I guess.
we got enough to work on, right? Still in that pitch waiting room and all that.
Oh yes, I was in the arcane waiting room for a while until like
Mm-hmm.
a week ago actually. So
Okay.
I was making this document about
Mm-hmm.
a week ago, and I was about to like come to your stream to sulk about how I'm never getting my arcane weapon, but then I got it.
You got it.
So
Nice.
yeah,
I see it.
it was yeah. I mean the luck on that was actually pretty average. I just wanted to be sad about it for no reason. I waited like maybe a month or so of doing like hard bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, a whole
yeah,
month? Oh, damn. Woe
wow, a
is
whole
you.
whopping month, like a whopping month of no games. Like, what do you do?
Impossible, yeah.
I
Well, now
mean,
you got a tier 7
I
with tier 5 boss and some stats, so it's actually better than the flame on my liberated weapon, so.
oh yeah, I was rewarded pretty heavenly too.
Mm.
Because if you scroll down, you'll see that I also got a roar 4,
Mm-hmm.
and it was from my second black mage ever.
Very nice.
My
So
friends were
you're
telling
on
me that like,
liberation path?
yes, I just finished my second month. So next month will be my third.
Mm-hmm.
Um, feeling pretty good about black mage in general. Like, I got hands. I'm gonna brag about it, but yeah, I can handle black mage pretty well. Like, do full DPS while surviving, at least.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you have to
So
as Shadow Word, right? Otherwise you're not getting the potential damage out of the class, really.
right, like I mean, I could be like a thief slacker, just sitting on the left side of phase 3 and just like dark siding my way through everything. But I like tryharding, so I wanted to contribute to the boss fight with the two friends that are carrying me through
Mm-hmm.
it, and yeah, it's actually pretty fun of a fight, I gotta admit.
Okay.
And you like once you got it down, and once you don't get kicked every 4 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. That becomes a lot easier when that happens. What's up with this slate flame over here?
Uh, ooh, okay, so I guess
Thought I was
so. Where
scrolling
we're
through
gonna
these things. Yeah.
let's like let's turn. Let's take a different path right now. So basically, as an intro, I started a little bit before ignition.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that was the first hyper burn. I made a Mihal, and I was solo progging for basically the whole year up until yeah, when Misty Island came out. think that was January or something.
Mhm.
I got burnt out. I I despise Misty Island with a passion, and
Mm.
most of it kind of attributed to I was DCing during Misty Island maybe like 50% of the time.
Yeah, it wasn't a great.
And so I was getting hard tilted. Like the runs, Misty Island, I think it was like at least an hour run every day.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was getting hard tilted. So I was just like, I'm just gonna get the totem and whatever the like 20 or so flames that it gives you, and just see what it gets me, and just forget it and just give up on it.
Hmm.
'Cause, yeah, I was really over it, and I don't really regret it now because like you don't need the totem to do whatever you want to
No, no,
do.
of course not.
Yeah, so I got it, and I was just like, all right, it's fine. I mean, by itself, it's kind of better than the Afterlands totems and the other stuff, but without the set bonus that I had.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I mean, some people just used like 5 flames and got extremely lucky, and I know some people who did the whole event and did all the flames and never saw anything over like a flame score of like 40 or something. So they ended up.
yeah,
I think Rain has like a
exactly.
33 flame score or something on it. And it's like, yeah, just depressing. I got like halfway and I hit something that was just slightly above average, so I just stopped there because I didn't want to risk throwing the second half of the flames on and then getting less or getting nothing. So I pussied out super early.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
some people went balls to the wall, like trying to hit big, and then ended up with the same one as you with way more work. So that could have
Yeah,
happened as well.
at the time I was pretty inexperienced. Like I didn't really know what was good for me. Like I
Hmm.
saw 3% all stat and like the something attack. I was not even attack, it's magic attack, and I was like, oh, okay, that's probably better than the other totems. Not, but it's fine.
Yeah,
I
I was pretty
will.
extreme back then. The amount of
Yeah,
events that were thrown at us.
yeah. If it were like in like some random freak incident where it comes back, I'll I only do it if if I don't disconnect. That was horrible. I was clipping through the map more than Pharaoh.
Oof, yeah,
Further.
not good. Yeah, I had a pyramid run where I was pressing my iframe and then holding down my main attack a little bit too quickly, so I canceled like part of the animation of my iframe, so it didn't go off, and then
Yeah.
my attack bugged, and then I was like trying to figure that out, and in that time I just got killed by the boss, even though I had like a really good run. So just the whole run was just like 40-minute run was just thrown away basically.
Oh god. Yeah, that's rough.
Unfortunate, but it happens. That's what you get when you get that non-KMS, approved content that that's fun, but it's a little janky. So you have to be okay with that. But I guess you've been doing it as well. You got the Guardian of Eternal Repose here. I guess that's
No,
pretty
yeah.
nice, right? For your bloody, no, not bloody pocket, for Meso Explosion.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet since I've just been using the AB concert thing for
Yeah,
now
this
for the
one's
next few
better now.
weeks. But
Hmm.
but yeah, I jankiness aside, I actually really like the content because I'm a huge roguelite fan.
Hmm.
I like the whole concept of like permadeath or like progging your character. Or and it was a nice like little mini game.
Hmm.
I didn't like any of the what was it, the other mini games inside the event map where you're like playing with other people. But
What do you mean?
it was like the what was it? Like the right now it's the monster pyramid thing.
Oh, you mean the Eintisk Island? That stuff? Like the
Yeah, yeah.
fishing and the yeah.
Ooh.
I think the fishing was okay. The like shooting the birds out of the sky with the catapults was super stale, honestly.
Actually, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. It was I'm thinking of the one where you get the dance fragments,
Oh,
the
those.
little
Okay,
red
okay, okay.
fragments.
I haven't done any of that. I'm gonna be real. That's all for cosmetic stuff. I'm not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah, I was interested in that one in that whole set where you gotta get like 5,000 of fragments for each mini game to get those. Yeah, Ute and one card and that stuff.
The Ute is.
I was like,
I did Ute once
I
and I stopped.
I liked and I hated Ute. I like the games where it's like RNG just goes in your favor and you just in one turn you just blast the other player.
Yeah, until
It
you are
triggered a
that other
lot.
player the next turn, and then
Yeah,
punch a hole in the
yeah,
wall.
yeah.
It's so RNG. It's so stupid.
It's yeah.
This is regular
At some
Ute or
point,
supernatural?
supernatural with the you get 2 skills.
Yeah,
right?
that's the worst one.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god, it's like regular Ute on roids. Oh god, I hate it so much.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you never know. Sometimes it's something just looks really useless, and then boom, you get like the God Seed, or like you get the -1. And then you move
Exactly,
your
but there's
character
like
back
not
into
really
the
skill
home.
involved. You just have to get lucky. There's like so
Yeah,
little
pretty
skill
much.
involved into it. It's yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
there's
care
like
for
some
that.
logic that comes into it, but like at
Mhm.
that some point, everyone just knows how to play it and just.
But you
Kind
can
of
make like objectively the best decisions and still lose. And that just sucks. And your opponent could do like pretty dumb things, but then just luck into like the right things at the right time, and then somehow beat you. And it's just like such a waste of
Yeah,
time.
I mean, it's how children's games go.
I
Monopoly
guess
is
so.
like that.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh yeah, you're rolling the dice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, with Pharaoh, I enjoyed it a lot. I actually completed every challenge.
Mhm.
So I got the Anubis mount and everything. So
Wow,
I'm
all of that as
officially
well.
done with it.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of work, honestly.
yeah, I was actually pretty like enthusiastic about it. I made a Reddit guide thing with like every class on like the best
Mhm.
practices, at least the ones that I did that worked really well. And yeah, I was digging it.
Play thief,
But
don't
yeah,
die to the chalices.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm at a point where now where I just spam attack power on thief, and just speed run the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, I
Yeah, I
had
was
the
doing with
hand, so just
archer, but
avoided
it's pretty
most of the
similar.
traps. Yeah, I found Archer kind of slower, but it's still pretty safe. I
Yeah, it's
actually like
safer.
Archer because I don't have the stress of having to break the bases.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Like
I
it
don't have
wastes.
the distraction of the temptation of breaking the bases,
Yeah,
which is better
exactly.
for me.
It wastes too much time. So it's like, all right,
Mhm.
I can just walk through them and just if I die out, then I die out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get that level 3 archer attack, and you get an Ankh, and everything just melts. That's a good
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah. It shreds everything.
I think I had one run where I was on my thief. I think I was hitting like 600k crits on the regular attack, just like mowing through that last boss. And that was at 105% defense, so it couldn't even kill me. Good time.
You nice. Yeah, I was trying to like get some crazy state where I get like 100k attack and like hit millions, but
Mhm.
I never got that point. Never got to that point, but it was fun while it lasted.
Okay, so specifically with your account here, to make sure that we get something productive done as well, not
Oh yeah.
just shooting the shit. What is kind of like, I guess, tell me a little bit about your current situation, what you're working on, and what I can possibly help you with.
Yep. So my current situation, I'm generally pretty satisfied with where at the pace I'm going right now. I just kind of wanted to reach out to see. I always like hearing other perspectives on like how people are progressing or how you would progress in like my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so I saw you had this offer, which is a very affordable deal, by the way. Um, just yeah, just to see where I'm at and if there's like something that I'm like doing very wrong or something that I could do work better on or focus put more attention on.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I run with bosses. I run most of the time. I run trios with two of my other friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're very close. It's kind of like there's no exception. Like we'll do trio runs and everything pretty much, unless it's like something we can solo already.
Mm-hmm. Or it's
Uh,
Extreme Lotus, and you can only
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
single or duo. So who's gonna draw the short straw there?
Oh, true, true. I didn't realize those. I was thinking this whole time. Oh, we could do Limbo when it comes out.
Yeah,
That'd be trio,
for
right?
Limbo it'll be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Extreme Lotus. Yeah, I didn't even think consider that. But we'll figure it out. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. You got some time to figure it out. It's a pretty strong
yeah.
dude.
But yeah, so frogging, we've gotten up to we're doing trio C10E minus Dark Null, which it's really just a hands problem. We have more than enough damage. We're just dying out like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
and we haven't. Yeah, I think we'll get to it because we haven't really practiced it that much. We've done normal Dark Null for a while, just like one-shotting it pretty much.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, it's time that we can do hard dark now because we started doing hard Vihilla pretty easily, I would say.
And Gloom is even easier, probably, right?
We actually suck at Gloom, but luckily our third guy, he got his origin, so we're doing Gloom with 3 origins and actually feels 10 times better. Because we kept like dying out when someone gets feared and Gloom is shooting his laser after the DPS phase, and one of us just ends up upping the laser, we get stunned or something into it. But
Gotcha.
now
Okay.
we decided to we just save our origins for that part as just to basically cancel the laser attack.
Yeah, if you use your laser close enough to where it's going to fire, then you can just cancel the laser altogether if you put it even a little earlier.
Yeah, that's how we've been doing it, and it works really well for how we play. So feels great now.
Okay.
Vihilla, yeah. So Vihilla's good. We for a while we were struggling a lot. But I really like doing Vihilla, so I actually went and found a way to solo her when I was like 40, 50 mil CP, like basically min clearing because it was a 28-minute run. But yeah, that was pretty insane.
Soloing can almost be easier than in a party if you have a long run, because it's easier to control her, right? Positioning advice and everything. Yeah. You gotta be on the same page in terms of where you stand, you know, where you move, if someone gets hit, if you move with the boss and everything.
Yeah, it was like way easier to manage my positioning because I think for like the last 20 minutes of the whole fight, I was down to two lives because I kept dying out, or I kept dying pretty much, and not being able to cleanse and stuff. I was sweating, but managed to do it with just 2 lives left. That was pretty good. But
good.
yeah, that's pretty much where we're at there. And then we get carried by 2 other guys that are much stronger, like 140 mil CP people for a black mage.
Okay.
And they're on the same page as us. They just started as black mage as well with us, so we're all basically progging that together. And then aside from that, I grind every now and then. I do like maybe an average like a WAP a weekday, and on weekends it can vary, like be 2, 3 to 4 WAPs on the weekends. No, maybe not 4.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's quite a bit now. I don't think I've ever done that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the grinding aspect, so I'm starting to put in some more points in Soul Janus just for the extra XP and for like the extra. Maybe when I hit Soul Janus 10, I'll be able to grind better at Shangri-La.
Yeah, maybe some maps that'll open up.
Yeah, I like taking the path that where I like taking the laziest route. So like if I can get more points in Soul Janus and have like a brain dead farming method, then I will take that. As long as if I have to sweat a bit for 18k rates, then I will do that. But yeah, if I can, I will do that.
Well, it's good to kind of know which maps you can get which rates, so that whatever your feeling is of that day, you can decide to go to the appropriate map for that, right? If you're looking for, exactly. Sometimes people are like, "Where should I train?" It's like, well, what's your, or there's like, "Where should I farm?" Okay, well, if you say farm, do you mean train? Do you mean like farming mesos or items or fragments, right? Because you have to look at how many monsters can you kill, how easy can you loot, how sweaty is the rotation. Is there a Star Force event coming up? Do you want to make more money? Maybe go to a map that's easier to loot. If you are trying to get the best EXP possible, maybe go for a map with more monsters that not necessarily is as easy to loot. Trying to go for items, probably more similar to the one where you loot more mesos, right? Because you don't want to miss any fragments in your rotation or miss a whole bunch of monsters while you're looting, so because that cuts into your rates as well. It's good to have a few maps on the roster that fit whatever vibe you're looking for that day.
Yeah, exactly. I've always had trouble finding a good rotation that suits me, even though I follow the Shadow Discord and they have all their stuff, and I try them out. I don't like them, so I just figure out what makes it makes me helps me get through a few hours of training.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, so let me see let me just pull up the questions I wrote down. I don't know if you do the same thing, but I have I like my memo is basically just my own private Discord server, and I just shove all stuff in there and pin them.
Your what is your private server?
Like like any notes I have for like anything really, or like reminders, I just put it in a Discord server. That's the only I have access to.
I see. No, I don't have that. No.
That's like my note taker.
Okay.
Okay, so let me see. So I have questions about Roar, but I can bring that up later. I just figured out that MapleStory recently, so I don't know like if you know how to get around MapleStory, like how to read stuff in there. Because I did it, I don't really know what I'm looking at or like how I can utilize MapleStory.
I have not used it myself. What I understand is that you get some kind of converted stat, basically, that based on inputs of people who have the same class and their times gives you a prediction of how likely you are to be able to kill a certain boss, either solo or in a party.
Oh, I see. So they took a lot of test data, like took a lot of other people's data, and then they just kind of interpolate it, see whatever.
Yeah, they give you like that score is kind of like a sort of benchmark, trying to give an actual benchmark that you could use. I see on the right you have like the 300, 380, so that's like the different PDR of the different bosses essentially. So because of different IED, you'll not necessarily perform as well on all of the bosses.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
That's what I assume at least, because it's Posu? Yeah, boss, that's boss 300. Boss 380. What's that? Mo? Yeah, that's gotta be armor, I guess.
Okay. You know what those numbers are like underneath? I know one of them it means like your hexa number, and one is like your underneath like all those categories.
Ilban? I have no idea what that means. Hexu. Hexu is hexa, yeah. That's the second one.
Yeah, I don't understand what that means though. But if you don't, then it's fine. We can just move on.
Well, I think it's what I was saying before, like the converted, basically like trying to make a number that's a representative for how strong you are, but it's not just like combat, because combat power is not really how strong you are. Combat power is how upgraded you are.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't take everything into account. Like IED isn't in there, but IED is one of the most important numbers in the entire game if you're looking at how much damage you're going to do to a boss, right? So hexa, like combat power is a cool number and everything, but it doesn't really do the job that people want it to do. Just like range couldn't do that before that either, because range doesn't also say like this is how strong you are and this is how well you're going to do. So their goal with the Scouter is to actually give you a number that will do that. And that's this number. So anyone else who's like around the same number, you can assume that they are gonna do about the same damage output to a boss, essentially.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Someone says it's like the stat if Hexa was just pure stat points, I think. If I was 50k stat, but I farmed a good amount of fragments, I might be like 65k Hexa converted stats as strong as a 65k character. Well, but it's not stat, right? But,
yeah, I'm not too sure.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, like, you're... Basically, for people who are as strong as you, you're slightly below average with your Hexa matrix.
Oh, okay.
Because it looks like if it's the Hexa converted stats, you're going down a bit. So I think that talks to the balance between how well you're upgraded versus how well your Hexa is upgraded. But I see the percentages below there. Like 82, 91, 63, 20, 120. I think that's about like the efficiency. That's got to be a balance efficiency as well. Scardor's translated. Yeah, I think there is a translated version out for it now. So maybe that'll... Because I heard that they were working on that. So maybe you can do that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. Thanks.
I need to look into it myself as well because more and more people are using it. It's just I'm always very hesitant for like new things that come from a different server that try to be like an all predicting thing, because so far we've never had something that does that properly, and then I don't want to give like credence to something that then ends up being about as useful as a BA or as a. But I think the goal for this is that you can kind of have a simulated BA somewhat without actually having to run the BA. I think that's probably going to be the best use for this, and then hopefully a BA somewhat accounted for the fact that the boss is not just going to stand there still and not do anything, so you can't really, for some bosses you can just extrapolate the BA, and for other bosses it's not at all possible, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of take that variance out of that. That's how I understand it. Card bars below the stat conversion are Oz ring efficiencies.
Oh, okay. It's
Below the stat conversion.
on the left sidebar of the right. The blue, red, yellow.
Oh, these ones here.
Yeah, those ones.
Oz ring efficiencies. Oh, oh, I wasn't even looking at that yet. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played around with that yet. I was looking at this. I've only so far used this as like, I've just been looking at the boss, the bosses and like
just on the right side, the percentages. Yeah.
Yeah. So from my understanding, it's like, if I play like perfectly, like I can do around 100% Black Mage part in that like whole hour, I guess.
Yeah.
I see Black Mage, I see the blue 100% number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, if I play perfectly, like past spot level, then maybe I can solo it, which I'm never gonna try it, but.
And a 10-minute VLR run, it says.
10-minute VLR.
Right, because you got 300%.
Oh yeah. Possibly, yeah. I did get a lot stronger since that 28-minute run.
You could do an in practice mode and see how, how realistic that is. It's not going to be perfect, right? But
yeah, that's kind of crazy actually.
And then Sea Slime
10
the
minutes
same.
is like 10 minutes was like our trio runs, so I definitely did not play that perfect to do a solo 10-minute run.
Yeah, because mathematically it would say that you could do full C10A like within half an hour yourself if you do it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But people use Scouter instead of just running it. I think once people just know that they have the mechanical skill, they just throw it into the Scouter just to see how far off they are, whether it's even worth their time or not to try it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, looks like easy
I get better
Kalos.
results just doing practice mode.
I think so too. It's a more realistic. I mean, and because you have the hands factor, right? You can't quantify that until you've at least died a few times and figured out what is stupid to do and what is smart to do. So.
Yep. Yeah. This just seems too much of in an ideal world, like in a vacuum. But it's also using testing data, which makes me wonder.
Yeah, I hope it, as people use more data, I hope it just gets more and more accurate, and then it gets more and more reliable. But I hope that people don't rely on it too much. You kind of have to know yourself in terms of like how good your mechanical skill is, and then you just can't just go off of this. Just like you can't just go off of a BA when you have no idea how the boss works, but like, oh, I hit the BA number, so therefore I must be able to kill the boss, Because that happens. People be like, oh, I have this BA, and then they just die out in 3 seconds. They can only do V-Hella by sitting in a corner with 6 people and just nuking it in one attack. Otherwise, like skill, like mechanics, whatever those,
Yeah, pretty much.
The converted hexes stand for the boss. Oh yeah, but it is different because of the ID, right?
Yeah. I also wonder if they like refresh the data, because
and it takes level into account. Yeah, so you have to update your level if you level up.
Oh, I see.
Because of the final damage bonus and reduction, right? And then you're sacred and everything.
I also wonder if they like ever refresh the data though, because like we've had changes like I wonder if there's data where Because this is data before when Shadowverse got nerfed on their origin.
Yeah, exactly. And how long do they hold on to it? And is it KMS data from updates that you haven't had yet? And there's so many question marks, right? So I'm always like very, very hesitant if someone is like, "Oh yeah, I use the Scouter. It means I can do it." It's like, okay, but like, is that like saying I looked at a tier list from KMS Tespia from 6 months from now, and they said that this is the best class, so therefore that's the best class? Like, I just always like very careful with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know it comes from like a good place, like people are trying to have more solid foundation, but if that is built with data that is not reliable for us, then the whole thing can kind of be thrown out, Or not entirely, but like, yeah.
There's a math bro for each region.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, yeah, I think there's many more of them. I think a whole of Inven, like there's a lot of people trying to figure this kind of stuff out, which is cool.
Yeah.
We got our calculator bro as well.
Yeah, calculator bro, and our whatever all other sources. Can't remember.
What is all of this? Strength. Oh, is this like stat equivalency? No.
On the right,
40.
is that final damage?
ID. Oh, this might be the types of potentials. And how much FD that would give you?
Yeah, I think if I remember from that like video, that's how they described it.
What is this? Link skill, shield buff, weapon booster? Oh yeah, because I think they were talking about like making one for 10 attack speed as well, because this one is kept on 8, right?
Ah, okay.
I don't know if that has anything to do with that. Yeah, I'll maybe look into it in the future. I hear more and more people talking about it. I want to make sure that there's good info out there about it.
Yeah, I'll wait on it. Seems like there's too much variance on it, especially with the 10 attack speed, because that's really huge for Shadowverse.
I mean, I guess when you put in the Scouter and you have your own personal runs that you're doing, and you can kind of like compare them and see percentage-wise how far off they are, and then you apply that percentage kind of to the other bosses as well, you can get somewhat of a goal there. I mean, it does look like you should be able to do easy Kalos pretty comfortably, right? Because if it's looking at like solo percentage almost in like half an hour, that means if you're doing it with a party with 6 people as strong as you. I mean, you guys have a 3-man, so you'll always just only need to find 3 more people.
Yeah, I mean, we are 2 stronger friends that we could always party with in the future too. So there'd be 5-man.
From the Black Mage, like same guys, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just find 1 support, because I don't think any of those 5 are supports, right?
Yep. Yeah, we got Dawn Warrior.
Oh yeah, Dawn Warrior support.
And a bunch of we got
an Arc support.
Arc support. Oh man, soon,
Hey, we help, dude. We help, okay?
I'm actually looking forward to it. I enjoy Arc. It's my favorite boss meal.
Okay, I'll take that. Okay.
Yeah, not to glaze you all the way. I hate Arc mobbing. I do not like training my Arc. So I'm waiting for Hyperburn to burn it in December. But yeah, bossing, I love the
something
bossing.
about it worked out for me. I don't know what it was, but it just kind of worked.
Yeah, I guess I enjoy Shadow training too much, like no brain, just staying in one place for like throughout 200 to 260.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess going into bossing meals, I have I think 2. Let me open up my Legion. 2, 1, 2.
Got some presets here.
I think I have like 6 bossing meals, and 2 of them do Enlomian, and 4 of them I run through Akechi. So the income is pretty decent from them. I try and do them every week. I think I do them every week. I just don't care enough to lose track, but there's definitely like some favorites in that whole cycle. Like I think Dual Blade's actually my strongest catchy bossing mill, and I cannot enjoy Dual Blade actually.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Although you would
So that's why
think that it's somewhat like in the same vibe as Shadow, but a bit simpler, I guess, right?
yeah, I don't know. It's just something about like watching the two abilities and watching their cooldowns come up. Like
Mhm.
it's just extra buttons instead of with Shadow. I just gotta watch for Trick Blade whenever it's up and my burst. So it's like with Dual Blade, like I have to look every 8 seconds to see if my things are up.
You could put a skill alarm, right?
It could be. Well, I have trouble paying attention to that skill alarm.
Yeah, it's like
I have
so
it up
far
on
down
like
in the bottom
everything.
right of the screen, right?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes. I wish I could just position it wherever. Like I would put it right
Middle of the
over my.
screen.
Yeah, yeah, right in front of me,
Yeah.
like World of Warcraft weak auras thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, I can't for the life of me just notice those. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to look. I just look down every now and then to see if it's just popping up.
Oh, you did the whole thing with the maple items during the anniversary, or at least for some of them. Like you built the sets with
Yeah,
the
I
set
was.
bonuses, or
Yeah. For the most part, it was just mainly to gear them up as I was training them. I
Mhm.
came back to. So when I quit Misty Island, I came back this year. Um, in like the beginning of Maple Anniversary. Well, a little later because I couldn't get that medal. I didn't finish the attendance thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was just like, hey, I can need to get my Legion up, so I'm just making all these meals and doing the thing, getting the coins on them and getting their gear. I think I only have one character where I'm doing that whole like bossing meal gear cheese with the 7 set or 6 set on each.
Yeah, I guess there were some classes where you couldn't do it, right? Because of the secondaries or something, and
Oh
the
yeah,
weapons didn't exist for every
yep,
class.
yeah. So those classes I just ended up doing like 7 set of the treasure set or whatever,
Mhm.
and it works okay, I guess.
Yeah, it works out. It's going well. But what about the? Yeah, I mean the thing with bossing meals, I guess to I could sketch it a little bit. It's very good in terms of general progress in the game if you don't really like the grinding as much, right? Because then you can get good money per time spent. But honestly, if you like grinding and you're on that a lot and you make most of your money with that, you kind of ignore bossing mules and you really only do the ones you really like. That's also totally fine, you know. You're not gonna
Yeah,
miss out on general game
yeah,
progress as long as you put in the hours grinding and you want to do that. Like that's perfectly good as a substitute, honestly.
yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like I can spend 30 minutes on a bossing mill and get 1.808 bill, or I can grind for 30 minutes and make like 3 to 400 mil plus frags plus nodes and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot.
Yeah, there's
So
more
yeah,
value there. There's not just meso value, there's other value. And the value for on a
yeah,
boss mule there's also more value on a boss mule, but that's more like in backups and in items and stuff that could only really come to fruition if you throw more resources at it, level it further, and start doing more bosses with it. Otherwise, that value never gets realized. But the value on your main gets like instantly realized as soon as you level even anything up in the hexa matrix. Like boom, extra value.
yeah.
So some people
I don't
have
think.
like a whole lot of boss meals, but it's usually because they don't really like grinding or they play like an insane amount. So there's no real pressure there for you, I don't think, if you like grinding a lot to feel like you need to make a lot more boss meals. I would just say whenever there's an event coming up, where there's free EXP, just throw it at whatever character you like bossing on the most, so that you can get that character into a situation where it could do even more bosses and just make more money in the same amount of time, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I'll try that for sure. Uh, trying to think what I would want then besides Arc. I'll think about it. I mean, yeah, so I have my Bishop, which I'm trying to gear up a bit more to like at least join parties for C10E.
Mm-hmm.
So far it's working all right. I think I was like barely blue dotting and hard blue will. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, there's a chance for me to get
Yeah,
arcane
get some more
stuff.
gains. Ring boxes.
Yeah,
As soon as you
yeah,
get to do that, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
And
that goes
how
more
else my
into like actualizing your value like leveraging your value of your main character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone else has a support from your friends, because if you run Extreme Lotus like with the strongest person with a bishop together, or the other two fighters together, maybe, I don't know, you can get your bishop up there to fit up
Yeah.
into one of the parties. I don't know if anyone else has like alts that are higher leveled up.
Possibly. I mean, we all have a 260 hyperburn now, but
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
definitely
gonna
like gearing
keep
mine up.
happening. And then I think what's just gonna keep happening is you get a hyperburn to 260, and then hopefully it's one. So what I would do is I just pick one of the characters that you already like bossing on, but you don't really want to throw a whole bunch of money into it now. You just take it as a hyperburn next time, get it up to 260, then actualize like all of the resources, right, that are on it. You know, you get very easily, typically with that, with that kind of level and everything, just get your CRA to like 21, and maybe get some 21 fodder to get like superior set to 20. And then you should be able to get to the level like Hard Lotus and below, be able to do that pretty comfortably, especially if you unlock the Origin and, the 2 Mastery Cores and that kind of stuff. And then that'll just be like good, solid income. I think it's better to have like 4 or 5 of those than to try to do like 12 boss mules and that kind of stuff. Trying to manage all of that while you're also trying to grind on your main and still build up your hexametrics,
Yeah, that honestly sounds way better to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer to work on fewer boss meals and just like 10 to 12 of them.
Yeah, I would do quality over. Well, I would always do quality over quantity, but I think for people who don't know yet what they would like and they don't like the grind that much, it makes sense to make like 12 CRA bossing mules and then slowly kind of will them down and really like cut out the ones that you don't want. The best part about that is also that you don't have to you don't over invest, right? Because you don't really invest much into a character to make it a CRA mule, and then you can see if you like it at that point. And if you already don't like it at all, you could just move on from it, and then you never end up spending a whole bunch of resources on a character that you then don't really like. Like with the Blade Master, now is a good time to see like, I tried the Blade Master, it's just not really my thing, and you can also ditch it without really feeling bad. But if this character was like a 250 and it was like funded to do Hard Lotus and Hard Dabian, and then you ditch it, that feels really bad, because now all those resources are just sitting there, You're like,
Yep.
At that point, I would almost consider like maybe job change it just to another Shadower and just make another Shadower bossing mule. Because that's the thing that a lot of people don't consider, is just making a bunch of the same characters. Because if you look at how many characters get into your Legion grid and how many extra character slots we actually have, you could make like 14 bossers that are all the same class as your main if you really like playing it, without really losing any value for your link skills in your Legion.
Yeah, I was talking to my other friend who's also a Shadower about it. I was like, yeah, like I'm honestly about to just make like 10 more Shadowers just as my bossing meals.
Yeah, you could do that, honestly. The downside, of course, is that you're only going to be playing Shadower, and then if you ever switch off, then, the Legion presets and everything, but like, you're going to be able to, again, the hands factor, right? You're going to be so much more efficient with any of the funding you do on those characters, because you're immediately going to be putting it to use. Because I had like I had an Arc bossing mule for a little bit. It was like way weaker than all the other characters, but the bossing was just the same, basically, because I knew exactly how to play Arc, so theoretically.
Yeah.
And then so I knew what to do and where to stand, and I knew all of that already, so it was just, second nature at that point. The only thing was weird that you start feeling the difference, like if they don't have the exact same attack speed or not the same duration of skills because of levels or something like that. you start feeling that a bit more, that the differentiating factors. Again, it doesn't have to be 10, right? But you could make like 1 or 2, and then the weekly income could come in quite quickly because you already know exactly what you're doing. And the other bonus is that if you have like fact pets and stuff like that, you can always transfer, or NX sets or whatever you want to do, you can always transfer that over as well if it's characters that are the same as your main.
Oh yeah, very true.
With auto buff and all that stuff, and then you only have to buy 1. So that's, it's a general thing that I don't see around a lot, and I think a lot of people automatically already don't consider it as an option because, quote unquote, that would be a waste. But I think it would be a waste to not put to work your mechanical skill that you've already gathered. Why not do that?
Oh, that means I could deck out like 10 Shadowers with the Explorer set.
Probably, yeah. If you have a bunch of those, yeah. Now you have to remember which one is which character. If you start doing the gambit of like making your thief look like a mage and making your mage look like a warrior, and
Oh god. I
and
have
then,
very similar IGNs too. So
yeah, exactly. And then especially if the IGNs aren't particular, it gets really difficult to remember which class is what or which character is what class.
It's just a roulette at that point. Did I choose the right character? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did I boss star on this character already?
Well, yeah, we have that in Korea now. They have that little like task manager thing, right, where you can basically make like a checklist of which dailies and which weeklies you want to do on a character, and like tick the boxes according to what you've already done. But I think the next step is to have like a account wide, so you can see like which character has already done what this week that you can get. But they also added character quick change, so you don't have to go back to the character selection menu. So I think with that, with those two options, I think it'll be a lot easier to get all your your tasks, all your homework done, essentially.
No, that's huge. I'm looking forward to that. So I have to like sit here and post in my personal Discord.
Oh yeah, that's where you're keeping all your notes in the personal Discord.
Yeah, I mean it works, but yeah, I mean I also have like some work stuff too, which is if I ever get subpoenaed, then I'm gonna have to subpoena my Discord account, which would be pretty hilarious, but also kind of sad. But yeah, okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you have any other directions or any other questions you wanted to go with according to Boss Mules or anything.
Boss Mules, I have a general idea of like how I want to do with them. Like I'm basically just funding them until for the Akechi ones, I just fund them until like I stop getting put into Akechi's little genjutsu thing.
Mm-hmm.
By that point, it's basically 30-minute. Get everything done in 30 minutes, which just suits me nicely there.
You get some. Did you get them into some guilds as well for some G skills?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta start leaving some because some of those guilds aren't helping me anymore. They put like 2 points in G skills. What are they doing? I'm doing nothing, but they gotta be doing something.
Do all the work. Well, there's hopefully after this update we get the update as well for the G skills where they build up way faster for smaller guilds. So that should probably make it easier to just make like more organized, full-on boss mule guilds where everyone just throws all the characters in. I believe just like 60k culvert will just max out 3 skills for as long as you have like the contribution, the flag maxed, and the culvert. At 60k, I believe you get 45 skill points. So that's super free damage. And 60k over 200 people is, what is that, like 3... Is that 300? No. 300 culvert per person? Yeah. On average. So that's doable, right?
Yeah, that's pretty doable.
I think most boss mules you can get like 1 point. You want to get towards like 1... Well, your character's not going to be there on average, but I think most boss mules you want to get somewhere between like 700 and like 1.2k or something. Should be like Lotus Damien boss mule, something like that.
Is that like hard Lotus Damien?
No, normal.
Oh, normal. Okay.
Hard Lotus Damien is going to be closer to... Probably closer to like 3k to 4k. Yeah, probably like 4k culvert, something like that. It's very class dependent, right? And if how much you're min-maxing and everything. But it's like 3 to 4k culvert, probably. It's more like hard Lotus, hard Damien. If you're putting equal effort into both, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's super try-hard sweating at hard Lotus levels, hopefully. But like once you get to C10, then you're gonna need to min-max more just to pull extra efficiency. Plus, every single thing you do slightly more efficiently is going to have a way bigger effect in terms of amount of stats gained and amount of time shaved off. So
okay, and then if it's like if you're like pushing a meal to a hard Lotus, like a hard Lotus meal, you would your go-to is generally to just like get like 2021 Absolab and then 2021 CRA and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Or
I would either go.
Arcanes?
Yeah, one of the two. So either I go for Arcanes and then I aim for 17 and then met with like, if I do hard lucid hard will runs and then eventually with some backups eventually roll it up to 19, but that's probably just for later. But I'd look towards 17 Arcanes or towards like 20 Abzos. Those I found are pretty interchangeable. But for the weapon, I always go for arcane weapon. Like for my fire poison, I went for a 20-star absolute weapon, but I regret that because it's just so weak.
Yeah.
But compared to just like a 17-star arcane, it just loses so hard. So I switched that up for the cane. Cane also went 20 abso, but went with a 17-star weapon that I had to buy sadly. But you know, it's whatever. Once your account is certain size, like buying an arcane weapon on one character is whatever. Like the amount of gains you get from that is just insane.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I don't think I'll worry. I'm probably not gonna worry about that until I'm like 285 or something on my main. So
Yeah.
how much I'm grinding it, but yeah.
Yeah, Hard Lotus is just a good idea, right, for the hearts, so you can support your main with that.
Yeah, exactly.
The money's nice, but
the money is pretty nice. Hard Lotus, I'll probably if I were to like make Hard Lotus meals, I'll probably pick something that's I can cheese them pretty nicely.
Yeah, I end up having a lot of stuff at 20. Like if I like my Dark Knight now, for example, it got 2 belts and 2 earrings by the time I got full superior. So then I tried for 21. 21 into 20 and then tap at 20 to see if you can hit 21 because you have 2 chances anyway, and both hit on the first one. So I have 221 pieces, and then for the ring I have 20, but then the pendant is still at 17 because I mean you're gonna have to like Dominator. I don't want to go into like doing normal arc forever or start crafting Dominators and all that bullshit. So I feel like 221 pieces, 120 piece, and then 117. That kind of like evens out roughly to like everything being around 20 stars. So that's like good enough for me to just sit on 17 on the pendant, so I don't have to worry about potentially booming or something.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of look at it. Where you have opportunities to get a little bit extra, and then something else that's harder, you go a little bit lower there, and then you save yourself a lot of time essentially. But it's perfectly possible that the next character doesn't get those 2 belts and doesn't get those 2 earrings, right? So I'll just end up sitting at 20 on all of those. But then maybe I get a bunch of kind of treasure rings and I go for a 21 or even a 22 kind of treasure ring and then a 21 superior ring maybe,
Yeah.
So every character is going to have its own thing. I think that's the good thing, or a good thing to think about when you're funding boss mules, is that it's good not to have a certain amount of money or a certain amount of nodes or a certain star for everything in mind, but that you stay flexible in terms of how lucky the character gets and where the character gets lucky, and then focus on just exploiting that and then taking as many resources as you have available that are the least valuable for your account and funding with that. If you end up with a lot of nodes, then you just build up the matrix more. If you have a lot of money, then you just build up the star force more or work on the potentials a little bit harder. That's like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll consider that.
Okie dokie.
Don't mind us pivoting into like just gear
Yeah, go for it.
stuff. I don't want to keep you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So just looking at my current. Oh yeah, my current drop gear. It's pretty much all set. Eventually, well, pretty soon actually, I want to upgrade it to throw in some 21 star rings, just to have a better time in 275 to 280 plus maps.
Yeah. Do you have anything that's already like built up towards it that you're switching away from, or?
Nope. Oh, well, I just
You have to make.
I didn't update the Meister ring, but that Meister ring I recubed it to
Is hybrid? Or?
It's hybrid, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got to get to 21 star, which I have a lot of materials to make a good amount of them.
Okay, that's fine then.
And then I have a Kana ring that I can aim to get to 2021. And from there, I was wondering if you think if it would be a good idea to go for like Dawn set prop gear. Like a Twilight Marks, Time Ring. I have an Estella earring. Yeah, I was wondering if that would be a good way to.
A lot of bean marks.
And that's when I get to 20 star drop bean mark.
Yeah. Let's see your current pieces, because the DS Cities can get to 20, but then of course the level on that is not very flattering. It's already hybrid though, so
Yeah.
I would almost be tempted to kind of treat the Diacetus as a black beam mark. Because if you're comparing it to the Estella, I mean, the Estella you would go 1 star higher.
Right.
But the
It's a
Estella is
lot.
level... Is level 1... Is it level 150? 145?
It is
Okay.
160.
160. Okay. Oh, okay. 160. So at 21... Jesus. First world problems. I don't have any 21 star items to check. I guess this is 17. So 15 and 17, right? So plus 116 plus 75, I believe. Yeah. It's gonna be significantly better, but of course it's a slower process to get that 21, right?
Yeah.
It could,
Like,
I mean, you could hit on the first one. It could be super fast. It's
I
all
could hit on
about
the
like.
first. Yeah. I mean, I have superior earrings I can send on it now. I can transfer.
Um,
Or
that's
I can even go like superior Gollux drop gear.
well, that's the thing. So if you're progressing quickly and you're always trying to train in the highest maps, you're and you kill with particles, and you seem like you're checking all of those boxes, then making like 21 drop gear specifically in the step in between, though expensive, is
Yeah.
probably a good idea. If you're moving more slowly, then you can basically just kind of wait until you hit pitched, and then everything, you know, all your other damage gear is all like 21 or 22, and then use that into stronger hybrid gear, and then kind of like one at a time, kind of like phase out your event ring set, basically event ring / boss accessory set, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So I would mainly focus on the pieces that would be low risk and start there. So I would definitely do like the Black Beam Mark to 20, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you still have Dineros.
I have like I'm at 800 right now, and
Oh, wait, it says
uh
1100 here. Did you boom something?
oh yeah, I was kind of trying to transpose a monocle for
Transpose?
fun.
I see.
Yeah, I'm like prepping a monocle to see if I end up getting a 22 star one for
Mm-hmm.
my damage gear.
Sure. Yep. But then you have...
Yeah, so that I was gonna
Yeah.
transition to a question about that one too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a very personal thing, but I don't think it's ever... If you want to do that, then you have my blessing, but I'm never going to tell someone that they have to do it, but I'm also not going to say it's a bad idea. It's kind of like... Because you can get to 22, it'll be substantially higher up than a Black Beam Mark. Black Beam Mark set bonus is just going to go away anyway. So the only thing you're dealing with is like the lack of flame advantage, which basically is kind of like the loss of a star, but you have the bonus stats on the transpose, so you're still going to be like solidly a star and a bit ahead because of the level 160 star forcing bonus versus the 135. So it's going to be essentially it's essentially going to come down to basically just gaining having like a 22 star Black Beam Mark kind of. So it's not like earth-shatteringly an upgrade, but it will mean that as soon as you hit any eye patch, that you can just go 22 or nothing on that, and you never have to worry about like, do I sit at 19, do I sit at 20, do I sit at 21, because you're going to be comparing to a Black Beam Mark that's 20, and then all of those options are kind of upgrades, and are going to feel weird going into the pitch. So it'll make that decision easier, essentially.
Okay.
But it does mean that you have to do more commercy, so if you were like very anti-commercy, then maybe you lean towards no.
Yeah, I'm
but if
kind
you're
of thinking
good...
like I'm kind of thinking like the next 5, 10, 15 or something, I just send what I have now, and if I don't get a 22 star monocle, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm not really keen on getting on that commercy train again, or ship. Rather.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked about the Daenerys is because the Sweetwater Tattoo, right, is hybrid. And that would be, I would think, you know, with the excess of commercy, just together with the Black Beam Mark, an item that with very little risk, you could walk up to 21. That's probably one of your first pieces, like together with probably like a second Kana Treasure Ring up to 21.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So like,
yeah, that might.
Beam Mark to 20, Tattoo to 21, Meister Ring to 21, Kana Treasure Ring to 21. Like, if you get those done, and then you look at your damage, and then you reassess if you still need more, that's what yeah, that's where I would be at, because you're also gonna make common upgrades, right? Like you're gonna get work your arcane up to
Arcane,
19
yeah.
eventually, right? Your CRA to 22 eventually, but that's probably after arcane to 19. And maybe some flames here and there, maybe some potentials here and there that are gonna be upgraded, right? So I would make those upgrades first before you plan to like swap out everything for 21. Because some people really just like don't think about it. They just boom make 21 and 22 drop rate gear. But maybe in hindsight, if they do the maths, they're like overpowered, you know, and kind of want to avoid
True.
doing that.
Yeah, okay, that's a good plan. Just basically walk it up, see if any more damage. I'm just trying to like
And the benefit of the approach is in the time that you're waiting, you'll get more drops, and then you'll automatically see what is the next like low risk item that I can walk up to make more guaranteed gains on, right? Like say in that time you get like 5 more dominators, then maybe at least getting a 19 dominator will be like an obvious choice or something, right? Although with the pendants, you always have the thing with the spirit pendant, right?
yeah.
You wanna think about.
Oh yeah, so yeah, my gear is actually set, so I don't need a dominator if I'm wearing like I can wear a spear pendant over the dominator.
Mm-hmm.
For
But you don't want
for
to.
that, which
Ideally, you don't want to
to
train with the mechanator though, right? Because the mechanator is that's weak shit, right?
Yeah.
You're losing a lot of damage there. But so you could, maybe by that time though, you hit like the sores or something, or no, you hit pitch. I don't know, like you get super lucky, and then you can take one of your pendants, because you do have the Sweetwater, right?
Yeah, I have a Sweetwater pendant.
Yeah, that's
for damage
21.
right
Yeah. Oh, maybe what you hit is like a Daybreak, right? Which is maybe a little bit weaker than the Sweetwater, but then you can use a Daybreak for damage. Or you can use a Daybreak for drop, whatever, and then replace the Mechanator with that. Because the Mechanator is like perfect gear for box opening, but for training for you, that's like a sore spot. This one is definitely one you want to keep an eye out, because it's considerably weaker than even one of the event rings, right? Because the event rings kind of pop out at you like, oh, this is basically like 16, 17 star gear, but the Mechanator is 15 star gear, which means 1 weapon attack on it.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't realize that sooner. Yeah, the Mechanator is kind of garbage.
It's great if you don't need damage, right? So for like opening a box, this is god tier. If you hit this early, like this will send your career and will stay with you forever. But yeah, for a shadow training in higher level areas, this thing is definitely going to be holding you back. And like I said, like things can compensate for each other, but with this thing around, everything has to work extra hard to make sure that you get to the finish line. So definitely keep an eye out on pendant possibilities. Like Daybreaks, I don't know how you are with the party and everything, but if you're going towards, if you're doing Fiala now, so that's good. And then if you can start working on Heart Saren, also drops it. So I don't know where your friends are at, with their progression. Everyone's going to want the piece, but you can talk to them about that for you specifically, for your progression, that Daybreaks would actually be really useful. Or you're going to have to, or maybe craft Dominators, or, I don't know if you're still doing daily normal arc and everything to try to get those. Probably should be doing that, right? Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on the on the pendant situation.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
And with the damage from those other pieces, like the rings and the tattoo and the bead mark, that's gonna be a lot. I mean, like even at 20, I mean, I don't have one on here. I think I have one on my Mihail, but I think it's like an easy. Is it like 45? Does it go up to 60 attack or something?
60. Yeah. Well, maybe I should just. Yeah, maybe I should just.
Because you have so many, right?
It.
You could probably just send it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you have another one. Hang on. You have a 20 for damage, right?
Yeah,
it's plus 45, plus 75, plus 45. So that's an extra 30 attack and 20 and 21 stat. Yeah, so if you have enough pieces like that, 21 tattoo. I've got one of those on my fire poison. Except for my fire poison, I decided to do the Sweetwater funding. For other characters, I don't. So it all kind of depends on, because I also don't like having to do the weeklies for Abzo. So I'll be like, okay, this guy, I'm okay doing Absolab because I haven't done that in a while. And this guy already has some Sweetwater, so I'll get some more Dineros. This one, I can just do arcane. I just never wanted to do arcanes on everyone blanketly, because then I'm every week constantly looking for like 6 exchange carries, and it's like a whole fucking hassle. So I want to have like one of each going at a time, max, and then when one is nearly done, I'll just buy the rest of the pieces and move on to the next one, kind of thing. Yeah, so 75, 45, and then 21 tattoo is 118 stat and 75 weapon and magic attack on it.
75. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's pretty good.
that's really good. That's an extra 54 attack, and what, like 54 attack and 52 stat on it. That's just really, yeah, once you get past that 20, and it's a level 160 item, right, versus a 135 and a black beam mark. So that's also why I'm saying, like, with the Sweetwater tattoo, with the monocle, I'm totally okay with people not wanting to do Sweetwater and everything, but if people are even like a little bit okay with doing it, I will say, like, there's so much power there. And you can already see with your pendant as well. Like, the Daybreak pendant is going to have to be really good, because it's just a 140 pendant, so even with that set bonus, it's going to be struggling to get better than this.
Right. I like that risk aversion though, where like you can add the freedom to just full send stuff to 22. Or boom. So yeah, I might probably go that route, try and see if I can get a Daybreak in. It's 22. I do have one Twilight Mark too that I'm not sure what to do with it. Or like I guess I could try and send it to 22 as well, and see if I can replace my current Sweetwater.
Yeah, so if you didn't have hybrid piece yet, then that would be more like the obvious for me. Well, I think the reason you get a 21 tattoo is so that when you get a Twilight, you can do 22 or nothing, basically. Just like we were talking about, like with the monocle, right? So you can make sure that you can go 22 or nothing on the eye patch, because you want to make sure that you set yourself up to not making sideways upgrades, right? Where you have to spend disproportionately to get like a minor upgrade, because that just doesn't feel good. So I think you want to set yourself in a position where you have something that's very solid, and that's why being a 21 gamer, I think, is amazing, because you have really good efficient gear, and the next step is to go 22 or nothing, so you know you have to commit to the Star Force first, and if it doesn't go, then it's fine, because you're still strong. And if it does go, then you also know it's worth upgrading and investing into, because you know for sure that it's an upgrade, and that it's the best upgrade you're going to make for a long, long, long time. And that also means then the next step is that old piece can now become a very strong drop or meso piece. So like, I would almost say, but the other ones are already hybrid, right? So, but if you look at the potential cost of Star Forcing versus cubing, you could say in your situation, oh, I'm going to see if I can get that monocle to 22, and I'm going to see if I can get the Twilight to 22. Because if you do get those two to hit, you can also just recube your current damage pieces, and then you don't have to worry with the hybrids and Star Forcing them at all, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the cost difference between cubing and potentialing there, it's probably cheaper to redo the hybrid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the hybrid bright cubing is cheaper on average than to have to do the Star Forcing, and potentially having to do all the Sweetwater voyages, right? So you could say, I'm just going to keep tapping Twilights. I'm going to focus on the Kana Treasuring, right? And maybe on the Meister. And then see if I can do the monocle in the meantime, and see if I can get a Twilight Mark up there in the meantime. And then if I hit those two, I'll just recube these two damage pieces, and then the other hybrids will, you could basically just extract them at that point, right? If you get, and then they could just make inventory space for other backups. That's also an option.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. As long as as long as I can make it efficient enough until once I get liberated, it'll probably be way easier.
Yeah, the base damage you get off that weapon is just ridiculous.
Yeah, base damage, final damage bone boost.
And the flame.
That'll probably solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I said this the other day in stream, but like this is the reason why I decided to go for arcane weapon on the cane. So look at the magic attack difference here. There's a tier 5
Yeah.
magic attack on the left and a tier 6 magic attack on the right. And it's a 20 star versus a 0 star, and it's a 6 magic attack difference.
Jeez.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's-
this is such a
wow.
waste of of effort and money. Yeah, you gotta go arcane weapon. Just even if the set bonus, what is the set bonus? Is like 30 attack and 10 boss. Yeah, big whoop. That's the flame going to a tier 6, right? Like that's, and then you're boned basically. So yeah,
Wow.
it doesn't make much sense to go high abso weapon. Only if you're trying to like fully solo progress and you're trying to get to like hard lucid solo, you know, like on abso gear, then maybe you can go for a higher, but for something like this. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend it again otherwise. But like these pieces are fine, right? Like it's 60 attack, 60 attack, 60 attack, 60 attack, so
Yeah.
that adds up nicely. 21 is like
Oh, wow.
really good gains, of course. What is it? 13 and 15. So times 4 is what? 52. 52 and 60. So that's really good. But you know, if anything booms, you have to start all over. And I got lucky on the potentials,
Yeah.
even at a
I
double
saw that
prime.
double
here.
prime. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, like nothing got. Like the worst one is my belt, I think, which is like a 24%. It was like 30, 33 with 2 int, 27. Yeah, that's on the same level. 36, 27, 30, 30, 30, 27 with 2 doubles, 27. Yeah, 3-second cooldown, 9 int. Oh no. Fire poison mage, ridiculous. 27, 30, 24. This one. Oh shit! I was supposed to do this one during the MMT.
Oh, yeah.
Rip, forgot about that. 27, 27, and I hit another 27 here, so it's like, yeah. Oh, I forgot to do this one. Well, whatever. That's the other thing, right? If you're like some little projects, you can just keep up because you know you don't really need the damage, but then when the most opportune moment comes, there's like an MMT out of nowhere or just a cube sale, it'd be like, oh, okay, and then you can kind of like finish things off and get even more value out of it, but you don't, you know, there's no pressure, so you always have like these little projects kind of running around. But the downside is if you don't have your own Discord where you make your own notes, that you kind of forget about these things and that they kind of get lost in the woodwork. But no, we'll get to it eventually.
Very true. Okay, cool. I think I have a good establishment on the on the drop.
Yeah, I guess
tier.
the earrings are a little bit tricky. You could try to go to 20 Diacites earrings, but yeah, it's level 130, so it's even lower than the Black Bean mark. So I probably would try the current earrings that you have. 21 seems like the logical way to go. You could go for a 19. I like 19 stars because it's like fairly low risk for already really good gains, and then you can just kind of like leave it there and see how it works with the rest of the set. And then if you do need more damage and you have more backups by that time, right? Then you can always try to see if you can push it further. So that's why I like just pushing the ones that you have the lowest risk profile on, and then seeing if that's enough. And if it isn't, you have a little bit of time, and then something else will pop up being the lowest risk profile depending on just how lucky you get with your drops. That's how I go about it. A little bit slower, way more risk averse, but I feel like it works for me. So, but yeah, you can adjust it to your own liking.
Yeah, I'm kind of overspending money on drop gear, so I'm gonna try and whichever is more risk averse and gets me to where I need to be. I will take that.
Wait, you're not using large drop rate?
I wish I had it.
Oh, but you're already making uniques, bro.
I don't know. I've heard many people just tell me just full send uniques or just spam epics. I don't know.
Well, if you make uniques, you can hit boss earlier, and uniques can also hit large drop on the bottom line, right? So I get that part, but the main number, I think, which is the convincing number, is when you look at the expected cost for. Oh no, I have a Discord. I have a message on Discord. That's never good. If you get your large drop faster, you also get more familiars faster, and then you can make uniques faster, right?
True. Yeah. Is
And
there like
if you look at the disparity in cost for getting a large item drop from making epics versus making uniques, this is the number that I think is just the important number. It's like, on average, it's
okay.
almost half the cost. So I always say, just make epics, just slam epics until you get that large drop, and then make all the uniques you want in the world, you know? Because the faster you get the epic, the faster you can start ending up making more uniques, plus the faster you can start getting more daybreaks, more pitched, more ring boxes, more everything, right? More fragments, you know? It will set your whole character up for just so much value and success.
So I heard like the hard cap on drop rate in KMS is like 400. Is that also valid for GMS?
So,
you know?
okay, so there's some conjecture going on, and there might be some old information, but as far as I know, when it comes to total, I have to say this right, total meso obtain, from what I know, can be up to plus 200% in Korea. So the total being 300%, including the 100% base amount that you have, right? That you start with. That's kind of like invisible.
Yeah.
Like you start with 100% damage as well, because if you had 0, you would deal no damage, right? And then with the drop rate is the same, but an extra 100% on the bonus. So they start with 100% just base drop rate, and they can have up to plus 300%, meaning the total drop rate they can have is 400%. But we also have the base 100%, but ours goes over 400%. So that would be...
Yeah.
So if people are talking about 400%, I don't think that can ever be the case, because we're already going into the 500s because of familiars and everything, right?
Yeah.
So since it shows up in the stat window, I'm inclined to say that we just don't have a cap, I don't think. We still have some individual caps like Area does, like so much from equips, so much from events and coupons together, but we don't have drop rate events anymore. But I don't think, because they list all the sources and everything, and there's no, cap, no number, like with crit rate where it's like, hey, it doesn't go over 100, but you're technically over 100, right? It doesn't show up like that. So I'm inclined to say, like, there is no cap like that. Doesn't look like there is. But when people are talking about the 400, they're talking about that base 100 plus bonus 300 that in Korea is the cap.
Yeah, okay.
You'd have to have like a whole lot of fucking samples, sample size from people who are doing a whole bunch of tests. I know that when fragments came out, people were doing tests like, is the amount of extra drop rate from familiars, is it linear? Is it linearly increasing versus the base amount, or is it, additive in some kind of way, or multiplicative in some kind of way, or does the familiars even matter? Like, are we capped? And for what I saw from the data was that in general, it was unclear if it was perfectly linear. It seemed like it was not perfectly linear, but it did seem that adding familiar drop rate and going over 400 or even over 500% did increase the total amount of drop rate. So that's what I'm inclined to believe, that's how it all works. Now, when it comes to like auto steal on fragments and everything, like, I haven't seen anything there that's compelling for me, but I don't know if you've seen other stuff there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of running them on my grinding fams.
Oh yeah,
I haven't really
I've run them on fams, but people are talking about like using it on gloves as well. But I'm like, you're giving up critical damage at that point. Like, that's a pretty big investment.
Oh yeah, right. I guess it's only if you're already comfortable grinding with like auto steel gloves, then worth a try.
Like, you might as well. Yeah, I think if people are in the camp of like, I don't know if it works, but I'm wearing them just in case, then go with God and all that good stuff. Like, your choice. But people who are like hardcore determined that it can help, I haven't seen the proof. If I see a single monster, if I see someone getting 2 fragments from a single monster, one's from an auto steal and one's from a kill, then I'm immediately a believer, and I'll preach the gospel of auto steal gloves instantly. But until then, or multiple stolen from a monster before it dies or something. But I think at that point, then people just wear all the auto steal in the world and 0 damage, and then just start hamming monsters down, right? Try to get with every single hit a chance of auto steal. Like, we'd have to see way more of them, but
Hmm.
That's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is why basically these numbers, and I'm assuming that this person, Elite Future, how could you be wrong with a name like that? That this person did their maths correctly, and these numbers make me advise people to, make epics first and then slime uniques all you want. But you got some bossing times already out of it, right?
Yeah, but they're epic ones. It's pretty funny. I haven't gotten a single good unique one.
True. See, but all the more reason, chat. You see, all the more reason to make epic first, because they are. You got 20. Two out of 20% IEDs are also epics. What are you doing, bro?
I think you're onto something here.
Yeah.
I should probably pivot into epics. They're treating me better than uniques.
They are, and you can make so many more, right? That 80% tier up rate versus 40% on uniques, that can be brutal.
Yeah, it's just part of me is like, I look at all these epics I made, and I'm like, am I gonna feed them to make more epics, or do I just turn them into
I think
unique?
past a certain point, I mean, you would keep some uniques. I'd probably keep up to like 10 or so to run up, but everything more than that, yeah. Because you can always make more epics to make into uniques afterwards.
Yeah,
it's better to not have the whole inventory be like that you have to fuse the cards like 12 at a time or something, because that's just so tedious. I got lucky that when the system released, like my Arc got some extra inventory space, so it has like 200 spots, so I can keep a bunch and still fuse over 100, which is nice. But yeah, that's no longer available, sadly.
Oh, it must be nice. Okay.
It is nice.
Yeah, I will pivot into epic then.
Okay.
That sounds. I get a lot nicer epics. I already got a lot of nice healing fams for unique, so I guess
exactly. So there's some value lost, quote unquote, like some pressure off of getting those uniques quickly for you as well.
Yeah, so it wasn't all in vain. So.
No, definitely not. Okay.
Yeah, we'll consider that.
This is Bronze Incense Burner. Oh, we got ourselves a Totemer.
Yeah, it didn't take me that long to get that bronze one. Just probably lucky.
Yeah,
I just farm them when I can. Like, I have like 7 of each of the other ones just in my inventory.
Yep. Yeah, those are way more common than the Incense Burner, right?
Yeah. But like I saw someone went to farm at Shoppers. I was like, okay, I'll go there, and then I did drop in like 5 minutes. Nice. This must be the tech. No, we'll see.
Chopper tech. It's good money. That's okay. I don't. Did you have anything else written down?
Yeah, I had a good amount actually. So I guess I have some probably quick questions on. I was looking at my glove. So I have my glove is currently crit and 23 luck, 23% luck. Is that better than 2-line crit, or is that compete with it at all?
It's like the closest you can get without going over. Are you Shadow a high crit damage class?
My crit damage right now, it's like 111, I think.
That's probably above. Well, you get an extra 30 from the G skills. They're probably a bit above average. So typically a line of crit damage is worth, like at the extreme, like around 40% stat. Like if you're just like a super low, and you're like early on in the game where you barely have legendaries, right? Your Legion isn't built yet and all that stuff. Like then it can be worth up like close to like 40% stat. And at the low end, it's like 20% or a little bit below. And that's mostly for archers and very high crit damage multiplication classes, which would be like Cadena, maybe Buck, because they have like a lot of crit damage in their stacks, and maybe Hayato, because I believe their maths are done all wrong, which somehow they're supposed to get final damage, but it shows up as damage, but it's calculated as critical damage, I believe. So it's like a little bit of a doozy. But I believe Hayato's also end up with mathematically high critical damage, and therefore the value for them gets closer to like the 20 mark. But for most people, it's usually like around like 25 to 28, like around there.
Okay.
So you're so close that you can definitely consider not having that as a priority to need to make that upgrade, but eventually it will be better. And there's of course like that minuscule chance that you hit double crit damage and then something useful on the third line as well, and then that makes it substantially better. And it's one of those, definitely one of those items where if you're considering, you typically consider definitely like double critical damage before you consider like 3-lining your WSC, for example.
Before, okay.
Yeah, but like after fully 3-lining your accessories when they're 22, because those have fewer junk lines, so those are like cheaper to 3-line, so like 30% or like 33 slime ring, you know, stuff like that. 30% like superior Gallux, Sweetwater Pendant, like that kind of stuff. That'll probably be just before, and then double crit damage just after, and then after that usually like secondary and emblem, trying to see if you can hit 3-line there. Yeah,
like 3 useful line, or like 3
yeah,
line
3 useful line. I guess, yeah, for emblem I guess it would be like 2-line attack, 1-line IED at the worst, quote unquote, and then for a secondary like 2-line attack, 1-line boss, something like that. And then the weapon 2-line attack. I guess in your situation, right, like re-rolling the weapon at this point would not be a bad idea, because you've only got 2-line there, and the weapon, since it's 160 plus, has the potentiality for that 13% boss on the top line and attack. Sorry, and since you already have the tier 7 attack, it scales with more attack. So if you could get at least like 1-line attack 2-line boss on the weapon, or 2-line attack 1-line boss, that would be, for your overall damage, that would make quite a big difference. And again, right now your weapon is losing a lot of value for you for your mobbing as well, putting extra pressure on that mobbing gear again, right? So if you can if you get 2-line attack 1-line boss, that's still good value for bossing, but still puts more pressure on your mobbing stuff. If you can get 2-line attack 1-line boss, now that makes it so that you have to not work as hard for the mobbing gear, and maybe instead of making everything 21 star, you could just make a 20 or 19 star, right? And then the amount of time it takes you to get that gear done will go down quite a bit. And I think, well, we could look at the cost real quick, but I'm pretty sure it's not super duper expensive, and cubing off event is never a horrible idea. And I don't know if you have any giant star forcing things that you had planned.
Don't really have a giant one.
I guess what we were talking about, right? Like the eye in the face, like the Twilight Mark and the monocle, to see if those go, because that could help out. Right. Because just check the cost. Who's got weapon, glowing, legendary, 200, normal, 2-line, 23 attack, 30 boss. That's pretty expensive. Yeah, that's not too bad, right? Median cost 16, average cost 23 bill. And if you were to say 2-line attack with anything, just 20. Motherfucker. The support for 200 plus is not done yet. There's no 23 plus, there's only 24 plus, which is, I guess we should take 21 plus then. That'd be the same, right?
Yeah, it's lower tier, I guess.
It says 2 bill, is that right?
For a 2-line attack. Whoa.
That seems low. Maybe something sneaky's going on here. I messaged Seth, who does some help, some supportive work for him, so maybe I'll look into it. But this doesn't seem... well...
That would just be...
150 cubes to hit 2-line attack on a weapon. I feel like I've never hit that personally. I'm just gonna say that much. 2100 for 27. 20 attack with IED. I guess that would be, or 20 attack with 2-line attack. 3-line attack or boss. Yeah, that's a pretty cheap one. So this could be 3-line boss, right? Or 2-line boss, 1-line attack. But this is already way within your budget, right? So I could definitely get rid of that. Should be able to get rid of that.
think.
damage line, or what is it, strength line?
Only that much for 3-line attacker boss?
Yep.
Wow.
But yeah, you're probably gonna hit the 3-line boss, which you don't want.
Yeah.
So you want at least 1-line attack and 2-line boss, like at least this. Then it's still, 7.3 bill. That's still, I think, very doable. So that's probably something that I would work on. And then 2-line attack with 1-line attack or boss or IED. Oh yeah, 2-line attack and 1 useful line. How much is that? Damn. Okay. All right. Well,
Still pretty affordable.
calculator says so. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of like where your money goes right now, I would definitely work on that before I'm thinking about the glove. Before I'm thinking about, maybe 3-line on the secondary. You can always throw some like stuff at a secondary, but you'll do one on the side, and then if you hit, then you have to Star Force it again. So that's a thing that you kind of have to think about for yourself, like if you want to do that, or if you just want to full send when you have the budget on the existing character. Making another 20 is not going to be breaking the bank when you're like that far in the game, because you're going to be making 21s and 22s at the ass. So like another shield level 130 item to 20 is not going to be that expensive comparatively. But it could just be a hassle, and I don't know if you're going to be up for that.
No, yeah, I'm up for it. That was actually one of my questions, if it would be a good idea to just make a new shield and just like send like solid cubes or whatever on it until I get something good.
Yeah, because I think what happens is you're gonna hit like what we're talking about with a weapon, like a 2-line attack, 1-line boss. You get that to 20. This one sits in the inventory, but then this one becomes the one you roll on the side to see if you can hit like a 3-line attack, or if you can hit maybe like a double prime or something, and then you can switch back.
Yeah, I think that's, I kind of like the idea, and it's level 130, so it's probably pretty cheap. You get to 20 star.
Yeah, so that can't be.
Yeah, unless I'm just ungodly.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's barring insane bad luck always, because that's always going to be exceptional, of course.
But, yeah,
you've got the enhancement room, right?
I do.
That's always a good time. 3 bill, 4.4 bill average. Doing a 30% off, 3 bill, 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, that seems fine considering how much I would spend else, otherwise on like the black cube here.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's sometimes weird because you've worked so long to get an item to a certain point, and then sometimes like the best decision is just to completely ditch it. And it can feel really weird because you have like this loyalty to this inanimate object, but it's like, but it helped me so much. It was so good at some point, but it could be total trash now compared to whatever else you're working on. Yeah, that's kind of how it can go. And then you're like me, and you just hold on to everything in your inventory until you just suffer through. You just hurt yourself to the extent where you can't hold on to relevant items anymore, until eventually you're like, okay, fuck it, I'm putting my foot down, and I'm getting rid of all the things I should have gotten rid of a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will try that for sure. The weapon and the sub weapon.
Yeah, definitely weapon like high priority over it, because the sub weapon already has 2-line attack, right? So
yeah,
I would be looking at possible. Yeah, before the secondary, I'd definitely be looking at like 2.5 lining accessories, for example, especially if it's already 22, like it's locked in, or if it's 21 and it's going to be relatively locked in. Like look for 30% on the Sweetwater Pendant, like 27 plus on the Superior Galax earrings, stuff like that,
Okay.
27 on the kind of treasure, like that. That's good. Like you see 21 star and it has 27, like that's right. They're both like on that line of like near perfect and good efficiency together. Like the Guardian Angel slime has 27. You probably weren't exactly aiming for 27, probably just aiming for 23, but you end up with 27 and it's at 17 star. That's fine. Spirit Galax ring is at 18%, and is at 20. Yeah, that one's a little bit in the middle. Like it's not quite where you want it yet, Star Force, to commit to it. So having an 18 on it for now is probably fine.
Yeah.
So you just want that to be congruent with each other. Yeah.
Okay.
This looks
What's
good.
like the general rule on like when you should aim for like 2.5 line or 3 line like stat on gear? Is
So
it
like
like
I said, yeah, in general, I would say like when it's 21 star or higher, then I
21
would
or higher?
also confirm to 2.5 line, and then I would confirm the 2.5 line in the order of cost. So like the cheapest item first, like heart first,
Mm-hmm.
heart and badge first because those are the cheapest. Then accessories.
Badge.
Then I don't know exactly. It's some of the fucking clothes. It's like shoulder and cape and shoe and pants are all, there's a certain order. I mean, I always forget, but you can kind of throw it in here, right? You can do like shoes. I want. Why? Where's the 23%, bro? What happened? Okay, let's say 27 because it should be the same. 183 cubes, and then I think pants is worse. Oh no, pants is better. So shoes is worse. Oh, yeah, because it got like the haste and everything. And then bottom and shoulder. No, and then shoulder is a little bit better. Okay. And cape is the same as shoulder. And who do you have left then? Shoulder and cape are the same. Then slightly better. And then they're slightly better than pants. And then pants is slightly better than shoes. Oh yeah, and then you have the top and the bottom, right? Those are like the worst. So then you have top, I think. So that's like the one that's worse than shoes at 278. So you see how much of a difference that is, right? And then the hat finally, but you're looking for cooldown reduction and everything. So the hat is technically better than the top, but you're looking for bright cubes there anyway if you want to go. And you probably want to go 3 second, I think, for what's the stabby thing again? Fuck.
Trick blade?
Trick blade, yeah. I think more second is better, right?
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends where you want to go, because I think if you want to do like 7-second trick play, you need like 7% or -7 CD, something like that.
Jeez, okay.
It's pretty high.
Okay.
It's 14-second base, so you would need -7.
Well, you'd need more than -7, right? Because once you get to -10, you get diminishing returns on the cooldown.
Oh,
You only get like 10% of the reduction.
So, yeah.
So I don't even know if you can get to 7. I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah, it's probably not. I don't think.
Well, if it starts with 14,
it's also don't really need it.
No. Well, if it starts with 14, you get like a little bit of reduction.
Too.
So you get like 4 and pulverize. Yeah. So I'm guessing 3 or 4. I mean, that's where like mathematically it'll cap out anyway, because like going more than going for like 5-second reduction is just like ridiculous. What is it, 20 trill?
Yeah.
So
I mean, from the Shadow Discord, they're still kind of like saying it's kind of a preference on whether you want crit or cooldown reduction or just get luck for a stronger burst.
2 second and 2 line stats. Is that only 8? Wasn't that like 50? Oh. And 3-second cooldown and 1 line stat is 7. Yeah, so this is what I got on my with glowing cubes on my fire poison hat and like 20 cubes. Ouch. Like 70 bill potential.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's fire poison like, God
okay.
seed.
Yeah, it's fucking seed. Not touching it. And just 3 seconds is like 12 bill. Okay. That's not too crazy. But now you got 2 seconds and 12%. So you got something like in between this, which is super, super cheap, and this, which is kind of expensive. But the very next step is like way more.
Right.
Or would be just 3 second, but then you're giving up 12% stat. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that would be. But that's an order of magnitude in terms of cost. That's already quite a bit further. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I think
so
you'll like those weapon gains. I think because it'll help your training.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Help your summon from needing the 6 shot.
Oh my god. dark clear. So then so I want to aim for maybe around 21, 22 on including my arcanes before I go for like 2.5 to 3 line.
For arcanes, I probably like the 26 to 27%, like which you can both hit like around like 19 star probably, because I like to sit on 19 for a while. I like to have, if I go 19 to 21, I like to have at least like 3 backups for each. So that usually takes a bit. And then hopefully you don't use them all and you keep some of your backups, and then for 21 to 22 you go for like 4 to 5 backups each, and then usually that's a good jump. But again, if you're more or less risk averse, then you could go a little bit earlier, of course, if you're okay with buying or with being like whoever it was in the chat who just said that they did some cubing and they ended up with spending 8 bill and going down in stars. Like that's not my and then off event. I just don't do that because there's so many projects to do. If I start doing things off event, it just takes longer. So it doesn't make much sense to me. But I guess for arcane a little bit earlier, because it just takes, you have longer jumps of waiting in between events for them. So I guess, and because you're holding on to them for quite a while at least, and you know you're gonna we're not killing limbo anytime soon for those pieces. So and if you start doing easy Kalos, that's 20 weeks of easy Kalos before you get APs that you can try to, but that only replaces the hat. So
Oh wow.
So that's always what I'm looking at, right? Like is the efficiency of the money, but also like how long are you going to be holding on to it? That's those are the 2 main factors to determine how far you push.
Okay.
Weapon is at least 6 more months. So, and training is potentially like a bottleneck, right? Because of your class. So getting extra attack on there is pretty important. That's going to take pressure off of all the other pieces, so that you can do like 1 or 2 pieces and then see how good it is, and then make them one at a time without feeling you need to make a whole 21, 22 set. Otherwise, you can't train, because that would suck.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try that. Is there like around like how many backups do you aim for when stepping up your arcanes?
Arcanes? Well,
yeah.
So if you go from 17 to 19, just 1 is enough, I think. And then, what did I say? 19 to 21, I think I try to have 3. And then from 21 to 22, I try to have 4 or 5. But,
okay.
You could probably do like -1 for that second and a third step, because I'm just on the high end of risk aversion. So a little bit less is probably also good. I'm just super careful.
I also like to be careful, so I'll probably do that. I do not want to lose stars.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like going down from a 19 to a 17 is not that bad, and you can get from that 17 back up to that 19 pretty quickly. It's just like going down from that 21 and then having to settle with a 17 or an 18 when you're like so close. That just sucks so hard. Just don't do the thing where you try to tap one item and it doesn't go, so you try to tap another item. Just don't do that. Just work on that one item again and see if you can get it back up. And if you can't, then at most you lose like 4 stars, right? At most you go down from a 21 to a 17. Like that's the most you want to lose in a session ever.
Okay.
Like if you have more money left, then that means you can send more. And if you don't have more money left, you lose at most 4 stars. Don't do like, oh, I have 4 21s. I'm going to try to tap them all. 1 goes to 22 and the other 3 go down to 17. Like that's a net drain. Like don't do that. Or or do, it's your life eventually, but I would highly recommend not to do that, because I don't think that feels good, because it'd be like, oh, one item is done, so, but you're gonna be weaker at the end of the day, so, and isn't that the goal, to become stronger?
And then for, do I generally want to like just try and hold on to my droplets as much as I can? Or should I like just start using them to make spares? Or
if you have a resource like that that's transferable and that's fungible, basically, that it's like a common backup, I would always keep it as its resource for as long as possible. Like Golex coins, right? Like if you're going to be working Galax coins, is maybe a little bit different because you have a limit of how many you can buy. But since there's no limit on how many arcanes you can buy and when you can buy them, I would always keep them as droplets as long as possible, because if you get lucky and you don't end up needing your backups, now these can go to another character and boom, you might be able to make like 2 or 3 set there pretty much instantly, and then that character can start progressing so quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like with the Meister rings as well, right? You don't have 20 Meister rings in your inventory, but you have the resources for it. Why not? Well, if the first or the second one go, now you kind of have a transferable ring that you can give to another character. If they get unlucky with kind of treasure rings, now you can give them the Meister ring value instead, and they can still do strong ring and the second ring that you can transfer hammer into superior if they get unlucky with kind of treasures. And that's a cool way that your account can kind of fill in for where a character gets bad RNG, essentially.
Okay. Do that. And then I have like a couple more on just about the... I just got the roar recently, like last week on my Black Mage run. So I have like a few questions on what to do about it. So basically I swap it for my reinforced ring right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's at 17-star reinforced ring. That thing is killing me. So I wonder if like if it's fine for me to just keep that ring where it is and just wait until I like make finish my superior rings and like my other stuff and get them to 21, 22, and just have like that reinforced ring as like whenever I'm not using the roar, I guess.
Yeah. So from what I understand, if you're soloing, you're pretty DPM-y, right? So like a continuous would actually probably help you more than a roar, I think.
Yep.
Unless you can like one burst out of a boss with a roar with your origin, and then a roar would be better again, blah blah blah. So I think you want to basically you're actually in a good position. I think you're being worried about something that actually you're in a good position where you haven't committed yet to your 4th ring slot, but you've hit the roar, so now you don't have to anymore, basically. So your roar, even in like inefficiency, is probably going to be equivalent at least to like a 20-21 ring with like perfect stat on it. So now it basically means that you don't have to work on a 3rd stat anymore. The only thing you have to work now on your rings in the short term is like see if you can get more slime rings. Probably means with your party trying to get to the point where you can just all solo slime. Maybe you guys can like race it together, at the same time, see who beats it first. But because you guys are going to get strong enough to be able to solo slime pretty quickly, and that'll just triple your income for slime rings. Once you guys hit like 22s and you don't need backups anymore, then you can like run together again if you want to, just to speed it up, or carry each other's secondary characters, that kind of stuff. But you really want to just focus on getting more slime rings at this point. And for superiors, like again, right now, if you could get more stars on your kind of treasure or your superior, if you were in a situation where you couldn't get more slime rings, then that would help, because then you don't have to work on your slime ring. But because of how strong you are, I think you can work on getting more backups of slime rings instead. So in turn, you don't have to worry about the other 2 as much anymore. So you can take more time, build up more Galax coins, and then make a better decision based on what you want to do. Once you need more damage, you'll have more coins, and then you can make a better like objective decision on what to do with the superior Galax ring. But hitting that roar is really like a blessing, because that means that you can basically forego the reinforced Galax ring. Maybe you can even try to tap this one at 21 and see if it goes, and then use that as a drop rate ring. That could even be a possibility, because you really just don't need it anymore. The only reason I would see for you to use it is if you're like trying to YOLO tap your Guardian Angel ring and it booms, and then you can use your reinforced again as a 3rd ring. But it's even at this point, like it's because at this Star Force they're pretty much the same, right? Like it's 5 stat, 1 attack difference. So it's maybe even about the same, maybe even better because of the potential, right? Like it's really close. Yeah. So you could kind of use them as a backup if you wanted to wager, but because you're also not in the Twilight Mark yet, so you don't have the set bonus of the Guardian Angel ring yet. So if you wanted to, you could do something like that, where like you roulette them up, for example, and see whichever one survives, and then yeah, so that's the thought, right? Like, let's say you try to get the reinforced ring to 18. If it does, you try to get the Guardian Angel ring to 18. You try to get the reinforced to 19. If one booms, then you maybe gain the star, because it's going to be dead anyway. And if it's reinforced that booms, it's whatever. If it helps the Guardian Angel Ring get a star safely, then that could be a gain. If the Guardian Angel Ring booms and the reinforced gains a star, that means that now on the next Guardian Angel Ring, you can go higher Star Force before you have to worry about whether or not it's going to be an upgrade, right? Same way that we were talking about the tattoo and the Twilight Mark and the pitched and all that. So now you can say, next ring I get, I'm going to go for 19. If it doesn't go to 19, I don't have to worry about it. And if it does go to 19, you could try getting reinforced Skolix Ring to 21. And if it does go to 21, then you can get the Guardian Angel Ring to 21. And if it booms, then you can get the next ring to 21. And if that one goes, now you can get the reinforced to 21. And if that goes, then you can get the Guardian Angel Ring to 22. And then if that goes, then the reinforced ring can become a drop rate ring.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's how you can, even though there are different items in a different slot and they may not be, right? This is why I like Sweetwater stuff, because you can basically use Sweetwater to, in a safe way, get to 22 pitched and get to actually 22 or nothing on pitched without actually using pitched.
Yeah.
Without having to jump there from like a 20 black bean mark or a God forbid a condensed power crystal, you know.
Okay. Yeah. I like that luxury a lot. That reinforced ring has been ruining my life, so I don't need to worry about that much.
Time for it to pay back.
Better. Yeah.
It'd be a noteworthy sacrifice for... Yeah, because I think you basically, for that 4th slot, you want either the Roar or you want the Continuous on. And if you're going with the 2-minute party, maybe you swap Weapon Jump full Roar, maybe. But I don't know what was your party again?
Our trio, we are 2 Shadowers and a Dual Blade.
Okay, wow, really the
stabby
stabby boys.
Yeah, stabby boys. One of them was a Night Lord that job changed to Shadower.
I see.
Yeah, so we could have been the 3 we could have been the 3 thieves.
Also, you guys are pretty... Yeah, you're really DPM heavy. That's gonna be tricky though, to make like the jump to the really bursty bosses. Like up to normal Kalos is gonna be still doable, but like the jump past normal Kalos to like the next one. Although I heard that for like Extreme Lotus and stuff, that DPM is actually favorable, so I guess might be in a good spot. Very stabby though, a lot of sharp things poking out. Okay, yeah, you want for that 4th ring slot either the Roar or the Continuous, and so this guy can you can use him as fodder to try to help the other guy up. Remember when if you do hit the Twilight, or when you hit the Twilight, to convert this guy to the Dawn, the Dawn Sun Ring. Yeah. Otherwise, you don't get the sub bonus. So.
Yeah, that costs like 10 mil, right?
Yeah, 10. Is it 10 mil? Yeah, it could be. At that point, it's a formality. But you have to, if you haven't done the pre-quest yet, you got to go to Ramu and talk to the slimes and everything on every character where you want to do that. Ugh, all of my boss wheels had to do that whole stupid storyline where you talk to all the slimes. Annoying.
Suffering from your own success. So many boss wheels with slime rings.
Yeah, but that's because of like exchange carries, right? And then trying to get ring boxes, and then you end up getting a slime ring. But yeah, I got some boss wheels that just have like 3 set Daybreak, like a 17 slime ring, 17 Daybreak pendant, and then 17 Twilight Mark. And that's pretty solid, you know. If you can get some backups later, and you maybe walk them up to 19, that's super duper solid for like a hard Lotus and below Mule.
Okay. And like in action, I can't imagine like being worth to ring swap the Roar for over just like keeping it on versus that 17 star ring. So you think it'd be just better just keep it on and not worry about like ring swapping and losing damage because I'm not whacking the boss.
No, exactly. That's why I'm also considering. Well, that's why I also told you like you could consider to use it as just fodder to bring the other ring up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you really just need 3 and holding on to Aurora, especially where you as DPM heavy, your damage comes from always being attacking on the boss, and every time that you spend just like standing there and swapping, if you're more a DPM character, that hurts you more than if you're a DPS character, because off burst as a DPS you do basically no damage. So if you take that time to swap rings, that could actually work
Yeah.
out, right? So like an arc,
Yeah.
for example, like you do very big bursts for like 40 to 50 seconds, and then you hit like with a wet paper noodle until the 2-minute burst comes back up. So ring swapping in the meantime is perfectly fine for an arc. But if you're Shadower and you've got like decent burst and you're more DPM heavy, then you're actually losing out quite a bit of damage to swap, and then to swap to well, you know, not to knock your gear, but to swap to this, that's not worth it. No.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Like I said, if you're in a 2-minute party setup, and you would swap to weapon jump, that will be worth it, for example.
Okay, got it.
Because I believe your do you have a 90-second burst?
Yeah, that's like my half burst.
Yeah.
Well,
you have a
it's my Sonic.
oh, you get a
45
Shadow
seconds.
Walker, right? On 3-minute.
Yeah, Shadow Walker is what makes it 3-minute.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, yeah, it's pretty much 90-second.
Yeah. So all three of you are basically just like trying to roar Shadow Walker, but essentially just to nuke it out. Yeah. And then you get your 90 seconds halfway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you'd want to play 3-minute regardless. Yeah. So the roar is super solid for you. But your BA and your culvert and everything went up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, lots, a lot.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, no, that's insane.
My tomato went
value.
up substantially. I'm just,
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's hard to tell which one did more for me because I got the roar and then I got the arcane weapon like the next day.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
that same night. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
massive gains. Don't know
Yeah,
which one was the
that's insane.
highest, but
And it's tier 7 on the weapon.
yeah,
maybe
that
at
was
least,
crazy.
like- Was it like 200 weapon attack increase just overnight?
Let me see.
And then because of the roar,
yeah,
that's 100%.
Yeah, just about 200.
Yeah. And then with the roar, that makes it 400 because it's 100%
Yeah.
attack. So yeah, it just doubles up on the gains.
Yeah, that was nuts. And then and that tier 7 flame I hit in like less than 10 black flames. It just went right there.
Okay.
So I have like,
please stop.
I know. I mean that's the other. I have like hundreds of black flames from this event that I don't know what to use it on yet.
Well, if you have no pitch, then use it on arcanes. You're gonna use those for a long time.
Yeah, I guess just min-maxing.
So try to walk them up evenly. I mean, you still need your cape, right? So, but
Yep.
yeah, they're kind of close, but like the glove is a little bit weaker now than the shoe. So try to get the glove to the level of the shoe or above, and if it passes it, then try to pass the shoe again. Anything that you can get like 145 plus is probably like a healthy keep. But
Okay.
until you get to that point, you can definitely throw some black flames on that. Maybe if you have an arcane weapon or a Abso weapon that's bad flamed on like a potential long-term boss mule, you could use some there maybe. But otherwise, yeah, I would hold to them as long as possible in case you hit a pitch.
Okay.
Or the last arcane cape, so you can throw it on those. Yeah.
Sick.
I'm guessing you're doing cape last because you hit 3-line luck on this thing, right?
Yeah. I haven't had that much luck on arcane armor, but can't complain that much considering all the other stuff I got.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Don't you dare.
Hoping to at least get some spares though before the next Star Forcing event.
Yeah, if you're lucky, right, and that goes back to what I said with if you can keep something as the resource, before you need it, do it as long as possible. If there is a 5-15 coming and you're planning on working on arcanes, try to make it so that you run your bosses in the time that makes it so that they will be, if they drop a box, that you can keep the box during the event, so you only have to open it for whatever thing you need as a backup, right? So if you usually run on Thursdays, but there's a 5-15 the week after, try to run, instead of on Thursdays, run like on Tuesdays or Wednesdays in the same Maple week, but like after, and then run again before, so that you have like double the chances of getting a box. Because like my mom did that when she had like 2 boxes, and she walked everything from 17 to 21 and only needed to use one of the boxes. And it's like, but she also, if she had opened them and she had picked the glove and the shoe, and then the cape is the one that booms, and then or then you can't, or then they boom, because it's always the one you have the most backups for that booms the most anyway. It's like ridiculous, but
Yeah, makes sense.
however, it could go badly. All right, I think we went over most of the things. Is there anything else you had written down?
Yeah, just one more quick question
Okay.
on. I guess this is kind of going back to bossing nails. So, nodes. Is it
Mm-hmm.
best practice to use like once you like disenchant all your useless nodes, your node shards, do you use those on skill nodes or do you just make more node stones or
So that would depend on the character. There are some characters who really just, if you have level 1 of the skill nodes, it's just good. And most of their damage still comes kind of from their, original skills. So
Mhm.
if that's the case, I would just craft more node stones with the shards and just open those and keep recycling that until you're done. That way you can get good
Yeah.
value and like evenly level everything up. But some classes, like if you're doing a buck, you got like Lord of the Deep. But again, like the Octopunch is also pretty important there. There's just some
Yeah.
characters where some skills, like if you're doing a Demon Slayer, like your Demon Awakening is extremely important, for example.
Mhm.
So then it's probably a good idea to just like craft straight up skill nodes. But I think for most boss mules, I would recycle the shards into more node stones and then open up again and then more shards and more node stones to kind of like even it out. So all of the skill nodes are like, level 3, 4, 5. And all of the boost nodes are at least like level, 12 to 15, something like that. And that's usually like a super, super solid start probably to get all the way up to like a Lotus Endymion, honestly.
Okay. Same for an arc boss meal.
Yeah, the spell bullets are pretty important to level, but that's like the only skill. Like a lot of damage comes from the just the level 1 burst existing
Yeah.
and from the like the impending deaths, the endless nightmare, endless dream. Like those the boost node. Yeah. But like if you're going to craft anything, you craft the spell bullets because it'll make extra bullets appear and the damage on it. So like if the beast attacks and all of that stuff, like it packs a wall up for sure.
Okay. I'll go for that then.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, listen, man. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for
Mm-hmm.
taking the time.
Yep.
Uh,
No worries.
that's probably went a little overtime for sure. But yeah, I
I
appreciate
think
it.
so.
Anyways, yeah, yeah.
No worries.
Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome. Best of luck, and I'll see you around.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, a little bit over. I don't mind. I do so few of these now, so all the people who do get a session get way more time than they bargained for, which is totally fine. I think this is one of the requested. I think this was a requested short session, so I think we went like triple the time. I honestly don't really care. I got all my dailies and my weeklies done, so it's the end of my day, so I'm just chilling. Hopefully, things we talked about were either informational, interesting, or at least entertaining to hear in the background. If you want more of these sessions as well, check the description of the video. We can give I give these away for free every month. Speaking of which, I have to make the post. I forgot to make the post this month so far. I'm gonna put that on my calendar to do that first thing tomorrow for giving away more sessions. So if you want to win one of these sessions, I give away 2 of those every month, so make sure you check out the community post on YouTube soon. And if you can't wait, you can also buy my time by supporting the channel and buying a session. All of the information is in the description of the video, or !coaching over there in the Twitch chat, where we use all of these commands as well. These all come from over there. You can use all of these in the Twitch chat. These are available for everyone, so if you are just using exclamation marks and then info, for example, then you can find all of the commands over there. And anyone can use these at all times, even when I'm offline. So feel free to, use them as much as you can and want to. That's 1. That's 2. And there's number 3. Hope you enjoyed the video. Watch another one, or don't. And I'll see you either on the next video or live over at twitch.tv. I stream there every day, so feel free to drop by if you have any questions. We have a welcoming, heartwarming, loving community with people who love to help, and just super welcoming. And they'll flip you off right now, probably. Oh no, Richard isn't here. He's usually the one who sets it in motion. So You guys are lucky. You're not getting flipped off today. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you next one or live on stream. And thanks for watching.